Hello everyone, my name is nateshputtalingappa. In this teaching and learning series, we are discussing the solutions for Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya Selection Test 2020, that is Class 6 JNVST 2020. Today, let us continue our discussion of solutions for the arithmetic test in section 2. Come on, let's begin. Question number 56. A square and a rectangle have the same perimeter. If the side of the square is 16 meters and the length of the rectangle is 18 meters, the breadth of the rectangle is. Here we have to find the breadth of the rectangle whose length is 18 meters, and the measurement of a side of a square is given as 16 meters, and also a condition is given that the square and the rectangles are having the same perimeter. To find breadth of the rectangle, let us find the perimeters of both square and the rectangle, and then we equate them. Let us consider a square whose side measures to be 16 meters. Please note here that measurements shown in the figures are not to the scale. The measurements shown in these figures are not same as on the scale. These figures are used just for representation. Now let us calculate perimeter of the square using the formula perimeter of a square PS is equal to 4A, where A is measurement of side of the square. So let us calculate perimeter of square PS is equal to 4 into measurement of side is given as 16 meters. So 4 into 16 is 64 meters is the perimeter of the square. Similarly, let us find perimeter of the given rectangle also, whose length is given as 18 meters and breadth is to be determined. We know that the formula for finding perimeter of a rectangle is given by PR is equal to 2 times L plus B. Let us now substitute for length of the rectangle, which is equal to 2 times length of rectangle is given as 18 meters. So I write 18. So B is to be found. So I keep it as B itself. So now multiplying 2 into 18 is 36 plus 2 into B, 2B. Now let us consider PR is equal to PS, that is perimeter of rectangle is equal to perimeter of the square, which is given in the question. That is a square and a rectangle have the same perimeter. So let us substitute the perimeters of rectangle and the square we have found and find the breadth of the rectangle. Perimeter of the rectangle is 36 plus 2B. So let me write here as 36 plus 2B is equal to perimeter of square is found to be 64 meters. So I write 64 here. And now taking this 36 to the right hand side becomes minus 36. So 2B is equal to 64 minus 36. Now 2B is equal to subtracting 36 from 64, we get 28. Therefore, B is equal to dividing 28 by 2. 2 ones are 2. 2 into 14 is 28. 14 2s are 28. Therefore, B is equal to 14 meters is the required answer. That is, breadth of the rectangle is 14 meters. Looking at the answer options, in answer option A, we have 14 meters. So, we mark answer option A as the correct answer for question number 56 and move to the next question. Question number 57. A park is 1500 meters long and 750 meters wide. A cyclist has to take 4 rounds of this park. How much time will he take at the speed of 4.5 km per hour. So a cyclist wishes to make 4 rounds of a park whose length is 1500 meters and width is 750 meters and his speed is 4.5 km per hour. We have to find the time taken by him to complete 4 rounds of the park. So for that, let us represent the park with a figure. Now let this rectangle represent a park whose length is 1500 meters and width or breadth is 750 meters. Now using this data, let us calculate perimeter of the park using the formula 2 times L plus B. Since the park is rectangular in shape, we use the formula for perimeter of a rectangle to calculate perimeter of the park. So, on substituting the values of length and breadth of the park, so we have 2 times length of the park is 1500 meters plus breadth of the park is 750 meters. Now adding these numbers 1500 plus 750 will be 2250. So 2 into 2250. On multiplying 2250 by 2 we get 4500. Meter is the perimeter of the park, which can be written as 4.5 kilometers because 1000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. So now let us find distance to be covered by the cyclist, which can be found by multiplying perimeter of the park by 4, since he has to take 4 rounds of the park. So let's multiply now. So 4 into perimeter of the park is found to be 4.5 kilometers. So I write it as 4.5 kilometers. So I retain this as it is. I will not multiply here to get a single number because in the question I find that the speed of the cyclist is given as 4.5 kilometer per hour. So while calculating time, this number will get cancelled. So looking at this number, I will retain 4 into 4.5 kilometer as it is without multiplying. So now we found that perimeter of the park is equal to 4.5 kilometer and the distance to be covered by the cyclist is equal to 4 into 4.5 kilometers. The speed of the cyclist is given in the question, which is 4.5 km per hour. We have to find time needed for the cyclist to make 4 rounds of the park. So I use the symbol T to represent the time needed for the cyclist. Now we make use of the formula speed is equal to distance divided by time, from which we derive to get the time. Time is equal to distance by speed. Now we have total distance to be covered by the cyclist and also we have speed of the cyclist. Substituting this into this formula, we can calculate the time needed for the cyclist to complete 4 rounds of that park. Let us substitute and simplify. Distance, total distance to be covered by cyclist is 4 into 4.5 kilometers divided by speed of the cyclist is 4.5 kilometer per hour, 4.5 kilometer per hour. So here we can cancel this 4.5 with this 4.5 in the denominator and also kilometer and kilometer denominator get cancels. This hour is in denominator of denominator which goes to numerator. Therefore, time t is equal to 4 hours. Now looking at the answer options in the question, we find that 4 hours is in answer option D. So we mark answer option D as the correct answer for question number 57 and we then move to the next question. Question number 58. The prime factorization of 640 is, we have to find the prime factors of 640 by dividing it by prime numbers. 640 is divisible by 2, which is a prime number. Dividing 640 by 2, we get 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4, and 0 is brought down as it is. That means 320 2 times will be 640. Now dividing 320 by 2 again. 2 ones are 2, 1 is remaining here, so it becomes 12, 2 6 are 12, and 0 is brought down. Again dividing by 2, 2 8s are 16, 0 is brought down as it is. That means 2 times 80 is 160. So again dividing 80 by 2, we get 40, 2 times 40 is 80, and 2 times 20 is 40, and 2 times 10 is 20, and 2 times 5 is 10. 5 itself is a prime number, so we stop dividing here. So now if you count the number of 2's here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on multiplying 2 7 times and 1 time by 5, we get 640. So the prime factorization of 640 will be 2 into 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 5. So looking at the answer options, here in answer option D, we find that there are 2 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 5 one time. Therefore, answer option D is the correct answer for question number 58. So we mark it on the OMR answer sheet for question number 58, and then we move to the next question. Question number 59. Find the approximate result of the following expression in whole numbers. The following expression is given in terms of decimal numbers, and we are asked to find the approximate result of this expression in whole numbers. For that, what we should do is we should first write down these decimal numbers into the nearest whole numbers, and then we simplify. So the first number here is 49.6. So 49.6 is close to 50, which is a whole number. 50 into 10.2 is close to 10. I write 10 here. Minus 7.1 is close to 7 into 29.7 is close to 30 minus 5.1 is close to 5 into 20.1 is close to 20. Now let us multiply and then subtract. 50 into 10 is 500 minus 7 into 30 is 210 minus 5 into 20 is 100. Here we have 210 and 100 with minus signs. So we add these numbers keeping minus sign, that is 500 minus 210 and 100 add up to give 310, and on subtracting 310 from 500 we get 190 as the difference, which is found in answer option D of the question. So we mark answer option D as the correct answer for question number 59 and move on to question number 60. We reached our destination at 2:45 p.m. after traveling for 4.5 hours. When did we start? So we are on a journey, and we are starting from the source or starting point, and we are traveling for 4.5 hours. And the time when we reach destination is 2:45 p.m. Now we have to find the time when we started our journey. For that, let us consider a timeline. Let this point represent the source or starting point of our journey. And we traveled for 4.5 hours to reach our destination, and the time when we reached destination was 2:45 p.m. Now, to find the time when we started our journey, we need to go back 4.5 hours on the timeline to find the time when we started our journey. So let us go in steps of 1 hour on the timeline. So the current time when we reach a destination is 2:45 p.m. and if we go back 1 hour from 2:45 p.m. the time will be 1:45 p.m. Again going back 1 hour from 1:45 p.m. the time will be 12:45 p.m. which will be 2 hours before 2:45 p.m. And if we go 3 hours before 2:45 p.m. the time will be 11:45 a.m. and going 1 hour behind on the timeline we get the time 10:45 a.m. Now we have reached the time 4 hours before 2:45 p.m. Going back 30 minutes we get the time 10:15 a.m. Now starting from 2:45 p.m. going back 4.5 hours we obtained the time 10:15 a.m. So we have started the journey at 10:15 a.m. Now looking at the answer options, we have 10:15 a.m. in answer option C. So let's mark answer option C as the correct answer for question number 60 on the OMR answer sheet. So I hope you understood the solutions of all the questions discussed in today's video. I will come with the solutions of some more questions in my next video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe my channel to get notifications of my new videos as I upload. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.